Trigger, the eyes of Obol and the blind sniper is soon upon us. She's gonna be the first fully off-field stun agent in the game. She's gonna be the first stun agent to scale off crit. And in some teams she also works as a super strong sub DPS. In this video, we're gonna take a look at her Mindscapes and we're gonna take a look at their engine. And I'm gonna give you what I recommend as stopping points if you're looking to invest a little bit in Trigger. So, hello everybody, my name is Hako and welcome into the channel. Now, first and foremost, I think the Trigger is worth pulling. Yes, Trigger is gonna be a very good like universal sniper that you can basically slot into any team. Now, if you want her full potential, you're gonna have to slot her in with Zombie, because Zombie buffs aftershock damage by a lot. But even at, 70 or 80% capacity, Trigger is still a force to be reckoned with. And I believe that she's extra good if your account may be lacking, other limited stunners like Xingyi and Lighter. Is her engine needed? Well, define needed. Her engine gives her such a massive boost that I personally consider it to be like the most must-pull engine that we've had yet. Trigger's engine is called Spectral Gaze. And what it does is, when the equipper hits an enemy with aftershock, causing electric damage, so this is a super specific engine, only usable for Trigger, and probably only gonna be usable for Trigger for the upcoming years. I don't imagine we get another stun agent that works off-field, deals aftershock, and also scales off crit. But, who knows. But when the equipper hits an enemy with aftershock and causes electric damage, the target's defense is reduced by 25% for 5 seconds. So on Trigger, this is 100% uptime. And additionally, when this effect is triggered, if the equipper is not the active character, they gain 1 stack of Spirit Lock, up to a maximum of 3 stacks. This can trigger only once per use of a skill, and each stack of Spirit Lock increases the equipper's impact by 4%, lasting 12 seconds. So stacking up to 3 times, so it gives 12% impact as well. And at full stacks, the equipper's impact increases by an additional 8%, so 20% impact. So overall, this is an insane engine. Trigger scales of crit rate because she transforms crit rate into days on her aftershock, and everything Trigger does is aftershock. So this engine is absolutely broken on her. However, there are some good options. You can run Lycon's engine, the Restrained. The Restrained is good. You're losing out on some of your own damage potential and the Shred, but you do get quite a big amount of days on your aftershock attacks because they are classed as basic attack damage. So the Restrained is a viable option if you don't want to go deeper into Trigger. But her signature engine is absolutely crazy. And like I said, I consider it to be the most must-pull engine that we've had so far. She will work fine without it, but the buffs she gets with it, they are nothing to scoff at. And now let's have a little bit of a look at the Mindscapes. Mindscape 1, Sharpened Senses. The stun damage multiplier applied through core passive is Soul Searching Gaze and increased by an additional 20%. So what Trigger does is that she increases the amount of damage an enemy takes by 35%, and this is applied even if the enemy is not stunned. This adds on an additional 20% on that, so it adds on. So in total, an enemy takes 55% more damage. Now this is good enough to this could have just been the M1, but they keep going. When activating basic attack harmonizing shot, the cooldown is reduced to 2 seconds. Perched gain upon hitting an enemy with the continuous fire or short counter in a sniper stance increases by 25%. Maximum perch increases to 125%. Perch is the resource we get when we shoot in her sniper stance, and it also gets expended whenever she comes in and does her harmonizing shot, her aftershock damage. Overall, her M1 is insane. It is her best Mindscape except for M6, but from a supporting standpoint, this is crazy. Now with supports or stunners or such, it's hard to calculate a real value because there's so many variables into it. But from the calculations I've done, the engine is about a 30% increase in overall value of Trigger. M1 easy 25%. So if you're really looking to get a real dangerous Trigger, this is kind of where I would cut it. Trigger, engine, M1. They're all so insanely good. Now she will work just base kit, but engine and M1 are such a massive boost to her. And if you're only going for one of them, go Trigger and then engine. That will give you the most value. After that, we think of Mindscapes. Now, for Trigger's second Mindscapes, Ether Vision. This is a crit damage buffs that is applied to an entire team. Whenever Trigger uses Aftershock, she gains 1 stack of Hunter's Gaze. Each stack of Hunter Gaze increases all squad members' crit damage by 6%, stacking up to 4 times, and lasting 10 seconds. So, this is a 24% crit damage to everybody on the team. And now, just like Triggers design, like she gets the most value, she reaches her full potential only like a full aftershock team. In certain teams, every unit on that team is gonna be able to like use this crit damage. So say that you're running Zombie, Trigger, Pulchra. All of them use this crit damage, and then you have effectively, you know, buffed your team's crit damage by 72%. Some other teams, on that hand, say that you're running Yanagi, Astra, Trigger. Then Trigger is kind of the only one on the team that really cares about it. But if you're running like more of a standard attacker team, so say Harmasa, Rina, Trigger, Rina's not gonna care about it too much, but you know, Harmasa is, and Trigger herself is. So the value of this one like is hard, but it's definitely like a lesser one than the first one. And a full team that can make use of this makes it quite powerful. But overall, it's nothing crazy, and it's a lot less value than the previous one. So I'd say like low spender to Dolphin, stop at M1. But, you know, if you're low then you want to keep going, there are some very, very good stuff to like pick up. Triggers M4 is actually kinda freaking good. When triggers enter or extends coordinated support, while the state is active, the next time other squad members trigger basic attack harmless shot or basic attack harmless shot touches, it will trigger disconnect upon hitting an enemy. So coordinated support is what happens with Trigger after she does her EX special or after she does her ultimate. She starts like aftershocking a lot quicker and with no cooldown basically. So every time she's either extended this or like just entered into it, the first aftershock she does will be an extra powerful attack, dealing additional damage equal to 200% of Trigger's attack, and inflicts daze equal to 120% of Trigger's impact. And also this skill has relatively high interrupt level, which means that it's able to like interrupt bosses, which is a very, very usable, and it fixes, you know, an issue that some people are finding with Zombie, that she gets hit a lot, but you know, if you had this one, and the bosses are stunned more often, maybe that wouldn't be as much of a problem. And as far as M4s go, like, I like the look of this one, and it is cool. I personally wish that I had the resources to like be able to go for this one, but I don't. But it's a very, very cool one, and I like the way it is structured. And once again, a little bit hard to like calculate the full value of. I mean, it is a bit depending on the content and like how useful it is to interrupt in a certain battle. But I'd say a round of a boost of like 20%. And number 6, now we're deep into whale territory. Upon entering the battlefield, Trigger gains 5 armor break rounds. For every 25 purge consumed, Trigger gains 1 additional armor break round, up to a maximum of 5 rounds. While possessing armor break rounds, when Trigger hits a target in sniper stance, 1 armor break round is consumed to deal additional electric damage equal to 1200% of Trigger's attack. Armor break round damage additionally increases by 50%. And this effect can trigger once every 0.2 seconds. So they kind of follow the pattern like that we've seen with other stun agents or support agents, like their M6 is not super much about supporting, it more turns them into like a personal monster. And this on its own like skyrockets, you know, Trigger's own personal damage. So anybody looking to, you know, run a full DPS Trigger, this is it. Like this is almost like a doubling of her damage. And it is obviously very, very, very good. But like I said, deep into whale territory. Getting an M6, we're looking at $1,500, you know, on an average. Unlucky, slightly more. Lucky, slightly less. But as far as Mindscapes go, she has very, very good Mindscapes with, you know, emphasis on how good the first one is. Me, personally, I feel like too much power is, like, locked behind Engine and M1, so I'm going for Engine and M1. Now, if I get fully unlucky, I'm not gonna, like, have enough pulls to pull that off, pun intended. But we'll see. Now, as finishing words, remember, Trigger is a very solid unit just on her own. Do not spend money that you cannot afford to spend to, like, you know, go deeper than you initially want on her. Her Engine and M1 are really, really good, but she will get the job done at M0. And the Restraint works as a good stun substitute if you cannot afford to go for her Engine. Also, like final thought, remember that 2.0 is coming up very, very soon. And if I know this dev team, they're gonna make it big. 2.0 is gonna be insane. And stun units are a little bit like more on the niche side. And I feel like Trigger might be constructed, you know, in a way that really incentivizes going for Engine and going for Mindscape, maybe just to like empty out people a little bit before the 2.0. So we have to, you know, entered into the more premium shop. And also remember that there is a chance that we will get info about the 2.0 units before Triggers banner is even done. So, you know, there is no rush, and if you're smart, so like not like me, maybe sitting tight and, you know, waiting to land off a banner to just see if we have anything solid, like information-wise, what we can be expecting, before deciding to pull for her is a way to do it. I'm very impatient, and I've waited Trigger for a long time, and after seeing the last trailer they put out, I don't know, I just want to give her a big hug and, you know, a blankie, some hot chocolate, so she's coming home tomorrow. But yeah, everybody, Trigger, then Engine, then M1, that's a very good stopping point. Otherwise, Trigger, Engine. But Trigger also works fine, even if you don't go for the Engine. But the Engine is super strong. So yeah, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let me and your fellow community members know down in the comments, how deep are you going into Trigger? And if you want to see my pulls live, I'll be live streaming them both on YouTube and Twitch. And I'll also be doing viewer pulls, so if you want me to like pull your Trigger, let me know in Discord. Our peeps, until next time, stay safe and thanks so much for watching. Hako out. Big hug.